Welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Ordinary Daily version of the Ordinary Marathoner podcast. My name is Scott. I'll be your host today. It is Wednesday, July 3rd. It is late, guys. It is like 12:15. We are way behind. This is probably going to be a short one. I'll warn you right in advance. But I did want to get something out today just to keep the streak, going of at least when I'm home and I'm not on the road, try to get these things out daily just to, make sure that I'm in touch and not going anywhere so you can rely on me, you know? Of course, it is July 3rd, which means tomorrow is July 4th, Independence Day. I hope you guys have a great holiday day. Tomorrow, my daughter Sam is going to be marching in a parade. My father is flying in from Florida. Unfortunately, his plane lands about the same time as the parade, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it back in time. We'll see. I'm kind of hoping to be able to get him from the airport, drive back, and watch Sam in the parade. But I don't know. It's going to be a lot of hustle. A lot of hustle involved. Maybe that's what I need. Maybe that'll count as some training there. But I am taking tomorrow off. In the training sense, I'm going to be taking the day off, and also personally from the podcast. So tomorrow you won't hear from me either. But we'll be back on Friday and try to kick one of these things out on Friday and prepare for the weekend. Key weekend of training for me. Kind of like my first weekend back after the 70.3. Couple weeks ago, and I, with 25 days, I didn't do the sign today, but 25 days left to Ironman Lake Placid. The next 2 weeks are really super key for me. It's pretty much the last chance. It's the last chance saloon. This is the last chance to build any little fitness that you can before tapering, and I'm going to get a full taper in, and then getting to Lake Placid and getting my redemption. And, contrary to, I try to, when I do the podcast, I always try to kind of open up and be really bluntly honest with you guys. And I always kind of share, and maybe it comes off as dramatic. I don't know. I always kind of try to share how I'm feeling or my concerns. And I don't want it to come off as like I'm really, I'm negative or pessimistic and I don't think I'm going to finish. That's not the case. What I'm trying to do really is analyze where my deficiencies are and then pinpoint what I need to do in order to limit those or minimize those and increase my chances of finishing. As of right now, I think I have a good chance to finish. I would definitely say over 50%, which might be low, but I'm putting it probably more at 90, which I think is good. I think that's, that would be a good. I feel like my chances of finishing are right around 90. It's a long day out there. I'm just prepping from trying to, right now it's like kind of thinking about how I'm going to feel at every point in the race. Obviously, I've done the race before, so I kind of know the layout. I know how long it's going to take. I know what it takes to get finished. I just need to put that plan in motion and try to kind of attack it with a strategy that benefits me the most. And, I think that's kind of my worry now is like picking the right strategy and being prepared for anything and trying to kind of spot the pitfalls before they occur so I'm prepared to deal with them when they happen. So that's kind of where my mind is. And I know sometimes it comes across as me being negative and me being pessimistic, but I don't think that's the case right now. I do feel really good about the 70.3 and how I finished there. I feel really good with my times. What we saw, I think that Christian Lee came up with this formula before, was if you take your 70.3 finish time, and mine I think was 7:08, and you double it and add 40 minutes, that's supposed to be your full Ironman time. So, say round it to 7:10 because we're not good at math. So that's 14:20 plus 40. That's 15 hours, which would be a PR by about a half an hour. So, or like 28, I don't even know, 20, whatever. Let's say a half an hour. That would be a big PR, 15 hours. And I'm not even gunning for that really. I'm gunning just to finish. That gives me a 2-hour cushion from there. It gives me a 2-hour cushion to get through. So I know, I approach these things and I don't approach them and take anything for granted, which is why I think it's almost a little arrogant to say I'm not worried about anything, because I'm always going to be worried about something. And that's what the show is about. It's about making sure that all that stuff is talked about. But I am not necessarily pessimistic about this race. I'm very optimistic. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm really looking forward to conquering it and getting through that finish line. And, that part, when I think about that part, I think about the people that could be there. We've had Mike Riley on the podcast, and he knows I'm coming. He knows to be ready for me down the chute. Obviously, my daughter, Sam, will be there. Ellie, Stephanie. Laura Stebbins is volunteering, and she's doing the medaling. So there's a chance that she could be giving me my medal when I pass through. Which is something, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. It's not often that you get to go through the finish line and the person that your person that's putting the medal on you're friends with. And since I ride with her often, it's like, that's pretty cool. It's just a pretty cool thing. Some people, Jimmy Simcoe, Joe Bartlett, they're not doing the race this year, but they're going. I know Joe's volunteering. I don't know if Jimmy is, but Joe's going to be on the course. I think he's doing a bike station, and he'll be handing me some Gatorade at one point, hopefully. I'm sure he'll be yelling words of encouragement. And that's just super cool. It's just super cool to think about how I was at this race 2 years ago, and it was basically me and Stephanie, and when we got there, we didn't really know anybody. We didn't know what to do. It was our first time doing anything. We just showing up in Lake Placid. Hey, how you doing? It's Scott and Stephanie, and we're here, and we have no clue what to do. But we met Joe and Jim, and they kind of held my hand through it, and then we finished the race, and felt great about it. Now it's time to do that again this year, and I'm really, I'm optimistic, and I'm looking forward to it. Very excited about it. So, when I talk about my concerns and all that stuff, I don't want to say that they're not real concerns, because they are. They're real. They're real concerns, and I think anything negative that happens during the race that could derail my, obviously my optimism, my expectation of finishing. But for now, I feel pretty good about this. I feel really good about it. I'm very excited about getting up there and getting some redemption on July 28th. So looking forward to it. Anyway, training wise, and then with that being said, and trying to kind of have an optimistic nature here, I want to just take a step back and talk about training. Yesterday, I tried to get out and do a run, my normal kind of 5.5 mile run. But since I hadn't run that much in a while, I just I walked up the hill. I just kind of wanted to get my legs back. One of the things they talked about in this coaching clinic that I was at was the importance of run cadence, which I never really paid attention to. But I had gone back in some of my files, my run data, to look at my run cadence, which is typically between 160, 165, which is very low. They said that, you want to get your cadence up to about 180. That's probably your most efficient. And it's not only for speed and things like that. It's also for the pounding that your legs take. So, and then, the theory is that when you have a lower stride cadence, that your foot might be landing a little bit. One of the reasons why your foot is landing a little bit too far out in front, and you have to turn those feet over quickly. So the quicker you get your foot down, the better. And and then the follow up with that is if your foot is landing out front, you're taking more. Your front leg is taking more of the pounding of running, right? And I think especially when you weigh a little bit more, it hurts. It hurts you even more. So, in a way, I guess, with my experience, especially in Phoenix Marathon, when I DNF'd and I had all that leg pain and leg cramping, I'll try anything, to try to see if maybe that's the way, maybe that's the way. So I went out yesterday and tried to work on my run cadence and to get that up a little bit. And the way I did it was before I went out, and I could have done this, I could have done this a little bit more efficiently, but I had a little metronome app downloaded to my phone. And I kind of tried to get used to just the cadence of 180, right? And then I put the phone down. I didn't want to carry it with me, and I just went and ran, trying to keep that cadence in mind. And then of course, you're not going to think about it the entire run, but as you run, every once in a while, I just try to remind myself, all right, get the cadence up, think about it, just at least think about it. I went out and I ran, and it was really humid out. And I got to tell you, I don't know that I'm necessarily recovered yet from the 70.3. I was shocked at how I was running maybe 10-minute miles. I think I did 3.5 miles, and then I started doing like little walk run. And I think it was, like I said, humid, and I don't want to make excuses because I hate making excuses, but I just felt like, I wasn't at my peak, and I covered the distance, but some of it was in a walk run fashion. I I don't know why I stopped. I don't know why. I just felt tired, legs tired, breathing heavy, sweating profusely in the humidity. Didn't bring water with me. So yeah, I covered it. And then the final uphill that when I did run that, the final uphill, because I did want to get a little, productivity in. But all in all, really not a good run for me. Not a good, I would kind of expect at this point where I could just walk out of my house and run 5 miles. That should be the case. And obviously, I just finished a 70.3 2 weeks ago. So why am I having trouble with a 5 mile run? I don't know. But it is what it is. It's a bad run. And I think I need, I didn't have a great bike the other night. I didn't have a great run yesterday. So if I can kind of just, attach that to the 70.3 that I did a couple weeks ago and just say, look, it's still kind of a hangover here, a hangover effect. And that's what I'm dealing with. That's kind of the explanation I'm going with. And we'll see. I'm not going to be upset about it. I'm just going to try to keep following up and doing other workouts. And eventually I think I'm going to get that good feeling back again. Today we're going to be doing a bike ride. I might try to sneak in some yoga. It is really late. I'm shocked at how late it is. Schedule just completely up in the air the next few days. My father's coming into town tomorrow and he's going to be here probably through Sunday. Stephanie actually has to go to Ecuador for a few days. Things are just a little nutty here and we're going to get through it. It's just training wise is like, when things happen and, unexpected sometimes, it's like, all right, you just got to kind of prioritize things. And obviously family is first, Ellie is first. And then training comes after that. So, fortunately for me, I do have a good support system here. So it's a good chance I'm going to get a good amount of things done. It's very hard to plan for. It's just the way it is. I consider myself lucky when I've been looking around lately and, a little less than a year ago, I knew a bunch of people that were registering for Ironman Lake Placid. I knew a bunch of people that were doing it. And was really looking for, I almost rented out a room in a restaurant to have a dinner, a teamish dinner, even though we're not necessarily a team, but, because there were so many people going. And now a lot of them are kind of like, well, I know, and I don't want to say names because I don't want to necessarily point people out if they're, if they didn't want to make this known publicly. But one guy I know had a bike accident last week. He had been training really, really hard. And I don't even know how to feel about that. It's like, I'm so upset for him because I know how hard he worked to get where he was. And it's not his first Ironman race, but, he flipped over the front of his bike and busted up his shoulder. And if there's ligament, he was supposed to get his MRI back, if not today. And he's going to see basically if there's ligament damage, I think he's pretty much out. But if there isn't, there's a chance that he might recover and be able to give it a shot in Lake Placid, which would be great. But I know that his family was going to go up and they canceled hotel rooms because of this accident. And, it's kind of very hard to deal with. And I hate, I hate to be him. Jeez. It's, man, it's just, you do all that work, you do it, and even just all the background plans and things that you do, and then to have an accident happen, it's crazy. So I do consider myself lucky. Another person, a friend of mine was supposed to go out and do the race, and she was really involved, really training hard. She did a 70.3 late last year in Atlantic City, and she did great. And, she just lost focus and decided to kind of focus on other things. So she stopped training and wasn't training as hard and doesn't feel like she's in full Ironman shape. So she may give it a go, but it's looking like she's probably not. So, two people off the bat that aren't doing it. Joe and Jim aren't doing it. They usually do it. They have probably done it the last 4 years and they skipping this year, which I got to tell you, after doing the 70.3, I don't blame them. 70.3, a much more manageable distance. And, still enough to train for, but you don't have to basically set aside your entire Saturday to go out and ride 75 to 100 miles because you have a full Ironman. You can approach training a lot more aggressively and quickly, I guess, get it done more, quickly as opposed to doing full days worth of workouts. Now I look at that, and Laura Stebbins not doing the race. She's volunteering. So it's kind of, a very strange thing. It was like all of a sudden it was like a whole lot of people doing the race, and now it's some people volunteering instead, and then an accident, and training gone awry, and now it seems like it's just me. So who knows? Who knows how it's going to be? But listen, I did want to keep this a little bit short today. I got tons of things to do. It is already 12:30, and we're going to end it here today. For training wise, I'm going to try to get a little yoga done, but I don't know if I'm going to do it before or after the bike. I'm probably going to do the bike now. I got a couple hours before I got to pick up Ellie, so I want to try to get a nice 2-hour ride in, and I want to do it. I just want to get off the bike and feel good about where I am. Just because the last couple, and again, I'm not afraid of those last 2 bad workouts. I just like to see a good one, So we'll see how it goes. And listen, have a happy 4th of July. I hope you guys stay safe, have a good time, be with family, enjoy it. And remember, every day is an ordinary day unless you make it extraordinary. So get after it, guys.
Remember to like our video and subscribe to our channel.